Mic check. The audio should have been working the whole time. I didn't do anything. What about now? You still hear me? Okay. That's a little odd. Yeah, I asked like when you said Jewel vape, I was asking if that was like something in a convenience store or something. I've never heard of Jewel vape. I've been talking for like the last 15 minutes or some crap and nobody's fucking heard me. I said hello, Alex, when Alex came in. I'm pretty sure Alex is gone by now. No. The vape stuff I have costs probably more than that then. My mod by itself is $200. Yeah, it must be one of those like what is it called? Like the blue vape pen or something. Probably something like that, I guess then. What's weird? I don't know anything about him, Shadow. Yeah, all the stuff I vape with are actual mods. I don't vape with those pens and all that stuff because I don't get enough. I don't get enough vape out of them. I tried them when I first started vaping. I tried them. It was the first thing I tried, and I immediately went tried, one of my friends' vape mods, and I got the flavor and stuff I liked off of them, and I immediately went and bought one. So I immediately went from one of those vape pens to literally only having a vape pen for a couple days to going and buying 150 something dollars worth of vape stuff. $200 mod and $60 or $70 RDA that on the same day plus juice. So I think I spent like 400 bucks on in the same day on one day. So yeah, I don't know anything about the newer vape pen thingies. Because the vape pen I got was a really old one. It was called Live Stick. That's what it was. Yeah, it was a big jump, but when you go from a friend offering you to taste theirs and then you're vaping on yours and you realize it doesn't really produce a lot of vape and it doesn't produce a lot of flavor or anything else. The other thing is those little vape pens, you gotta buy those stupid cartridges. It was cheaper for me to buy 250-foot spool of Canthal wire and build the coils myself than it was to literally buy the actual pre-built coils. I never heard of the Relau. It uses three 18650s. Never even heard of it. I am looking for a actual mod box that takes three 18650s though. If you're willing to sell it or something. Building coils isn't hard as long as you know how Ohm's law works. Jason Reynolds wants me to do a video on mesh builds. I just haven't got to it yet. I have all the stuff to build mesh. I just haven't done it yet. Building my own coils is kind of relaxing to me, and it doesn't. 250-foot spool of Canthal A1. 23 gauge, or no, 25 gauge. It only cost me like 15, 20 something dollars. Where just for one of my tanks, the one coil, pre-built coils like $30. So it's easier for me to buy the wire and just make my own coil. I can make probably a good 100,000 or more coils off that one 250-foot spool of wire. So I'm literally saving $30 times, you know, however many coils I build off of it. So if it's 100,000 coils, you imagine $30 times 100,000. That's a lot of money if you build them yourself. That's $3 million if you look at it from that aspect. I haven't even ran out of coil wire. I literally bought a 250-foot spool of 25 gauge about 6, 7 years ago, and I still haven't ran out of that spool yet. Yeah, you have to be careful on sub-oiming. If you have to make sure that the batteries are capable. You could be using a 35 amp draw battery when your build actually requires a 50 amp set of batteries. I didn't realize that you vaped, Shadow, to be honest. So do I. I vape and smoke. I'm trying to quit smoking again, though. I started vaping to originally quit smoking. Once I quit smoking, I stopped vaping. All my vape stuff was sitting in my closet for the last 3.5, almost 4 years. And then I decided to start vaping again because about 2 years after I stopped vaping and smoking, a bunch of drama popped off in my life and I started smoking cigarettes again. So I'm using vaping to quit cigarettes again. You prefer what, the pre-built coils? You just said previous coils. You know, if you do the math on pre-built coils, they don't save you money. They actually cost you a lot of money, depending on the tank or the RDA or what kind of coils they are. Are they pre-built? Are they pre-built coils for a tank? Are they pre-built coils for a RDA? Because if they're pre-built coils for an rebuildable deck atomizer, like this is a rebuildable deck atomizer, and it's a rebuildable tank atomizer. So this is actually both in one. If you're buying coils for a RDA, then you can get them at a vape shop for like $1.50 a coil for a pre-built coil. But if you're buying coils for a tank, then yeah, the tanks are more expensive. The coils for the tanks cost a lot of more money. Those range from $20 to $50 a coil. And sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll find a tank manufacturer that provides like a pack of tanks coils, you know, like 3 coil in a pack for like $30. But I noticed that the RDA coils I build will last months, where the tank coils only last me a couple weeks. So to me, it's not plausible in cost. It's cheaper for me to rebuild my own coils than it is for me to buy them. And that's because the money I save building my own coils gets me new RDAs or new tanks or a new mod, you know, 4 or 5 times in a couple months. Where instead of spending, you know, $30 for a coil for a tank, you say I do that 4 or 5 times a week. Say I go through the coils daily because I vape so much. Then I'm looking at $30 times 5 days. 30, 60, 90, 100. $130. $130 could get me 2 different tanks. It could get me 2 different RDA decks. It could get me close to another $200 mod, or it could get me 2 $60 mods. You know, modification boxes. So it's all depending on preference. $30 for a 5 pack, that's not bad, but it depends on the tank. If it's a smock tank, sometimes they're more expensive and you only get them in singles. I have a, oh, what is it called? Let's see, what is that called? I can't remember. I got several tanks, but I don't use my tanks as much as I use as my RDAs. Be just easier to move this bag. Oh, there. I just bought a couple other tanks, but therefore I have a goblin tank sitting right here. This is a goblin. But these buildable decks are only like $6 for this one. So I can make my own coil specifically for this tank. The actual coils for this are $20 a piece. When you do the math and you have like 20 or 30 tanks and you have over 60 RDAs, if you do the math, if you were buying coil packs per tank, you should be spending a whole lot more money than you realize. This is a Kanger tank. I have 4 of these rebuildable decks. I can literally put 4 different coils in these at a time, because I have 4 of them. So I can literally build 4 different systems and just change out, because this is a rebuildable deck. Here, I'll show you. This is for the Kanger tank. Now, I understand why you like them, because you can just toss them in and be done with it. Yeah, I get it. But I go to vape expos and shit, so that's what it looks like. I have a coil inside. So I have 4 of these. So I can put a different coil in each one of them and just swap them out if I wanted to swap them out. But I can build the coils. But it makes sense. If you're busy and you don't have the time to do it, then it's probably easier to just buy pre-built coils. And then the new tanks I bought are for mesh builds, but I have this tank. This is a TFV4. I have two or three of these. I have one that's black, one that's silver, and then I think I bought a black one for my wife. And if I remember correctly, this is a rebuildable deck also. No, this is an actual pre-built coil. I think I have the rebuildable deck somewhere. Yeah, I have a pre-built coil in it, but I have the actual RDA decks for it, or RTA decks. Yeah, rebuildable tank deck. Yeah, that's what it is. And then what is this one? This one is this is the silver one. TFV4 silver. I have I have some very large RDAs that hold, or tanks that hold like twice as much fluid as these TFV4s. I have one that holds like 6 milliliters or some crap. I think it's this one right here. Yeah. This is an Aspire. This tank is huge. It holds like 6.5 or 7 milliliters. I'm not gay, you moron. I have rebuildable decks for these too. This is a rebuildable deck. It's a whole lot of talk for somebody that has God in its name. And I have a lot of mechanical mods too. Here's a little 18650 Stingray. And I have its bigger brother, the 26650. Oh, the screw came out. I did do a video on all the mods that I got last. Yeah, that would be nice, but I haven't found a 21700 mod that gives that kind of draw. I think I might have left them in here somewhere. This Game Boy Advance SP bag's got all my RDAs and stuff in it. Ah, here's the new ones. These tanks I actually have separated. This is a Freemax Mesh Pro. This one holds the glass it's got on it holds 5 milliliters, and the extra glass that I was given is a larger piece of glass. It holds 7.5 milliliters. That's one of the newer ones. And then this is one of the newer ones also. This one is a Profile Unity by Motofo. This one has a small glass though. This one has a bottom deck. It's not just a tank. It's actually a tank and RDA and RTA. This one you can actually do mesh builds on. No. The last two I showed you were 810s. Those are the two tanks that I have in here, because these two tanks I put in my RDA bag because they're mesh tanks. All the tanks I showed you earlier were not mesh tanks. But this thing is filled to the brim with RDAs, because that's what I normally vape with is RDAs. I don't normally use tanks a lot. My most favorite tank, to be honest, is the one that's on my mod, which is this Broomhilde. This tank is sweet. It's got steel cabling inside it that you can take out and replace. And that steel cabling actually wicks it up into the actual RDA deck in the top. Hey, Lucky7, how's it going? I've literally had this tank last me. Yeah, it's got steel wicks. Let's see if I can get it closer to the camera. It's got 4 steel wicks in it. You can actually take the cables out. They're actually twisted cable. Turn it. Oh, you can probably see it right there. There you go. There's a view right there. Yeah, you actually have to look through the glass, not the actual, like, powder on the outside. You actually have to look through the glass. You're the only one from Small Engineations that stopped in here, Lucky. It's called a... It's called a Brunhilde. If you want to look it up. It's like 50 bucks. I think you can get it on sale now for like $20 or $30. I have all my vape stuff in a gun bag. This massive gun bag right here. And then I have some more vape stuff sitting over there that I need to put back in the bag. The bag weighs about 70 pounds, 80 pounds, something like that. I've gotten the best flavor out of any tank, in my personal opinion, on this Broomhilde. And it has an amazing amount of air control. It's got it on both sides. And then it's got coil airflow for the wicking wires is actually that round hole on that side. And you don't have to take it apart to fill it. Watch. That's the air for to wick the fluid from the cables up to the cotton. And then if you turn it this side, that's where you stick your bottle. You stick the nozzle of the bottle there and you squeeze the juice into that little hole and it fills the tank. So you don't really have to do much. Other than you got to take the cap off and clean the inside all the time because it gets pretty dirty and pretty sticky quick. Oh no, it won't use. I haven't found any pre-built coils. Yeah, you can if you buy the regular RDA coils, you could. If you're not, it doesn't have tank coils. It has regular RDA deck coils. See? So if you went to the vape shop and you said, "Hey, I want two or three or four coils," they can give you the regular coils pre-built for like $1 something or whatever. It doesn't take the little deck style coils. That's why I consider this more of an RDA. Yeah, like if you went to the vape shop and said, "Hey, I want 15 or 20 of these Clapton coils." It will take Clapton coils. It just doesn't take the pre-built tank coils because the tank is basically underneath the deck. So um, it doesn't require a actual tank coil because the coils are actually sitting on top. So it's more of a RTA rebuildable tank because it's got a tank body, but it's actually an RDA deck. If you actually look up the Broomhilde online, you can look at the features and everything. You might like it. Because then it's cheaper to buy. If you wanted to buy pre-built coils, it'd be cheaper to buy these types of pre-built coils than it would be tank coils. Because tank coils have to fit in a little bitty tube. These coils are just regular buildable coils. And these actually came with it. They were already pre-built in the package. It came with like 12 pre-built coils. And I just threw them in. It's called a Brunhilde. It's a very nice German-made tank. Hey, you're welcome. I've gotten the best flavor off this, and the coils are pretty cheap. Like, even if I didn't want to make the coils myself, 50 cents to $1 per coil, I can do that. I could buy 50 of them freaking week, and I still wouldn't use all of them. So it's cheaper for me to buy pre-built coils for RDAs than it is for tanks. And it's kind of nice that this one specifically takes RDA style coils, not tank coils. So even if I don't want to make my own coils, I can still use pre-builts, but it's not going to cost an arm and a leg. It's not going to cost $30 for you know, 5 coils because they come in this. Because the reason they charge more for the tank coils is because they're not just charging you for the coils in the tank piece. They're also charging you for the steel that it took them to make the actual cage and everything else. I've never heard of that one. I do know that you're saying it's 12 milligram nicotine though. I don't vape the nicotine anymore. If I'm trying to quit, the only nicotine I should be intaking is from the cigarettes, not from what I'm vaping. That's how I quit the first time when I vaped to quit smoking cigarettes. The only nicotine I would get would be the cigarettes. When I would vape zero nicotine. I was basically replacing the habit of putting something up to my mouth with something else, more or less, instead of the actual nicotine habit. Is Justin still live? Well, I always carry my cigarettes with me with my vape. So when I want a cigarette break, I go out and smoke a cigarette. And then I try for the next 3 or 4 hours or more to just use the vape. No. That's probably because you like the nicotine. You like that it's 12 milligrams, where the cigarette probably has like 4 or 5. I know people that use like 70 something milligrams of nicotine. 12 isn't really that bad. And the only way to quit smoking, if that's what your goal is you'd have to taper off the nicotine on your vape in order to quit. Because if you just vape nicotine, then you're kind of defeating the purpose. You're vaping nicotine and you're smoking cigarettes. You're taking in more nicotine than you need. Yeah. I smoke about a half a pack a day. I'm just telling you how I quit several years ago. How I quit was I smoked cigarettes, and then I substituted the vape for the cigarette smoking. It wasn't necessarily the nicotine I was addicted to, it was actually the motion of smoking something. I think you might be addicted to the nicotine though. Well, if you want me to do some more vape videos, you know, I can do more vape videos. Maybe that will encourage you to slow down on the cigarettes. Yeah, every time somebody argues with me, all I want to do is the vape or cigarettes. It doesn't really matter what I'm doing. It just as long as I'm doing the motion. It calms me down. I don't think it's necessarily the nicotine, because my wife was screaming at me the other day and I grabbed my vape instead of grabbing a cigarette. I actually gave my cigarettes to my wife. I told her that she had to regulate my cigarette smoke. So if she went to work and she was at work for 8 hours, if I don't want to walk to the store because she took my truck, then I literally have to suffer without a cigarette for 8 hours. And the way to substitute that would be vaping zero nicotine. And I think I do have a couple bottles with nicotine in around here somewhere, but I think they're only like 3 milligrams. The problem is the nicotine gives me migraines, so I actually have to stop smoking again. You forgot. You can just dip it upside down if you want it to wick faster. Yeah, I've been smoking just as long as you have. I think I've been smoking for what, I think about 32 or 33 years now. I only quit for 2 years, 2 or 3 times. It's about as long as I've quit smoking. One about 10 years ago for about 2 years, and then drama happened. I started smoking again, and then about 5 years, 6 years ago, no, about 6 or 7 years ago, I quit again. So I started, I quit about 10 years ago. I started up about a year and a half, almost 2 years later. I quit again, and then recently, about 5 or so years ago, I quit again. So I've quit probably 3 or 4 times in the last 12 years. But it only lasted between a year and 2 years, and then I went back to smoking. And I'm vaping at 0.14 ohms right now. I found the best vaping flavor you get from 0.20 to 0.19 to 0.22 is the best section for like cloud and the best flavor. Anything below that, like this is at 0.14, I get more cloud out of it than I do flavor. So if you do what I do, if you vape for flavor, you'll forget. You'll totally forget about smoking nicotine. Because I do it, how I do it is I replace the nicotine with flavor. So instead of smoking that cigarette that I absolutely want, I will grab my vape and I'll put one of my favorite flavors in. Because one of my favorite flavors is a strawberry cannoli. Do you use temp control a lot? Because if you use temp control a lot, you have to be using titanium or um, nickel or stainless. Which one are you using? You're using stainless. Okay, so if you are going to do, are you not doing temp control anymore? Um, if you're looking for cool, you might want to try nickel. Nickel has a better cooling feeling. So when you vape, it's not so hot. Titanium is actually a little better than stainless when it comes to temp control. So if you're looking for flavor, cloud, and temperature, my personal opinion would be um, to use either titanium or nickel at 320, 250 to 320, somewhere in there on the temp. And if you wanted to bump it up a little higher, you can go up to like 400, 425, somewhere around there. It's also going to depend on the vape juice you're using. If it's fruity vape juice, you're going to want to be somewhere in the range of 500 degrees, somewhere around there. If it is savory, you're going to want to be somewhere in the 550, 600. If it's like pastries, you're going to want to be in the lower range, like 300 to 400. And those would give you the best cloud also. Yeah, 400 is pretty hot, but if what do you normally vape? Is it like pastries? Is it creams? Is it fruits? Is it savory stuff like or is it like regular tobacco flavor? What do you normally vape? 400 degrees, if it was in wattage mode, would be about 120 watts or so. So 400 is pretty high. Okay, so like mint lines, like mint tea, stuff like that. Because I have sitting over here a couple things that you might like, but I'm not sure if you would try it. It's called tailored, and they're teas. They're actually like drinking tea. This one is a pink Palmer. It's like a strawberry cherry mint tea. And then I have this one right here. It's made by Tailored. It's peach tea. And my wife vapes also, but my wife can't smoke cigarettes. So um, I usually buy zero so that way she can use it with me. The first one, it's called Pink Palmer. It's like a raspberry kind of strawberry mint tea. I'm gonna drop you my phone number. You can always send me like a text message if you want me to send you some different vape juice brands or names that you might like. You can just send me a text message or whatever. And then I have these right here. These is what I was vaping on earlier. This one is made by Casadaga Liquids. Me and my wife love this one. This one is a cannoli de nuts, and it's actually pistachio cream pastry. It's actually a cannoli. It tastes like a cannoli and pistachios. And I have two other flavors of this one. I have the cannoli be mine, which is strawberry cream cannoli. And then I have the original, which is just cannoli B1, which is just a vanilla cream cannoli. These are really good. Cannoli is kind of an Italian sweet pastry. It's kind of like a donut, but it's more creamy. Kind of melts in your mouth. And this is one of my other favorites. This is like the 20th bottle I've bought. This one's made by Liquid State. It's called Apple Butter. This one actually tastes like the apple butter that you put on your toast. Yeah, it's similar to an eclair. Yeah. Yeah, cannoli's like an eclair. And this one is amazing. That's what I had in my tank that I showed you earlier is the cannoli with the pistachios. It actually tastes like pistachios. And what I hate about pistachios is they're so damn expensive. Have you? Is it the same apple butter as this Liquid State, or is it a different one? Oh, you had it on toast. Yeah, it literally tastes like apple butter, like you put it on toast. It's awesome. This one's not even open yet. It's still sealed. I'm saving it for a day that I absolutely have to have it. Because I can go through that apple butter jar in freaking a day, day and a half. It's a 60 milliliter. These are 100 milliliters. And I have a custom made one that I had made myself. This one tastes like Christmas. It's got like cinnamons and apple and cranberries and something else. It tastes like eating Christmas dinner. Well, I do a lot of vape stuff. I've had Jason Reynolds ask me to do a bunch of vape videos only in the last couple months. I'm about out of liquid in this one. I'm gonna have to clean this one. Yeah, I just smoked a cigarette and then I'm gonna go back to vaping. So well, I try to help. You know, that's the whole point of my channel is to help people. That's why I do electronic reviews and automotive videos and vaping videos. If it will help somebody, I'll do a video on it. Yeah, if you're looking for, in the temp controlled kind of style, I would do like 250 on the temperature. Especially for something light like mints. So if it's like tea or mint or fruit, I would do something pretty low. 250, 300 degrees, somewhere around there. You can even do lower, but if you're wanting flavor and cloud, you're going to want to do somewhere in the range of 160 to 270, somewhere in there. Especially on stainless, if you're using just stainless. And I try not to do a lot of nicotine because my wife is allergic to, she's not allergic to it, but she has asthma, so it bothers her. Yeah, I would go between 170 and 260, somewhere around there. I would go between those ranges, but it also depends on how many ohms the coils are and everything else. So if you're doing sub ohms like 0.19 or 0.22, those are best for flavor. They're not best for cloud. If you're wanting cloud, you're going to have to do like double sub ohms, which would be 0.05 or something like that. That would be double sub ohms. What's best for flavor is in the higher normal, just sub ohm level. So 0.4 to 0.22 is the best range for flavor, which this one's at the bottom end of that flavor realm, which is 0.14. If you want extreme amounts of flavor, you can go upwards of 1.19, somewhere around there. 0.15 is pretty good for flavor, but my personal preference is 0.19 to 0.22, in my opinion, for ONYX, which usually comes out to about 3.4 volts. And it's only like 5 or 7 amps, something like that. Yeah, I used to do really sub ONYX. Like my Buddha RDA, it's a 32 millimeter RDA around. I would do like 2 to 4 coils, 2 coils on each side, and I would get it to 0.06 or 7 is the lowest I've gone. But all you got was cloud. There was very hardly any way to tell that there was flavor in it. So if I was you, I would try try Canthal A1 in just a temperature mode, or not in temperature mode, but in a wattage mode, and try 0.19 to 0.22 ohms at 67 watts to 85 watts. You can write that down. That's not temperature controlled, that's actually wattage mode, but that would give you an idea of good flavor. This is a temp controlled mod, I just have it in wattage mode. I like this mod, you can actually change the ohms. You can actually change the ohms on the chip. 3. Preset settings for the ohms, it's at 0.146 ohms, and I can actually change it to 0.196. This is actually if this mod is only like $30 or $40 now. This is a Tesla XT. If I remember correctly, yep, XT. I think it's a 220 watt mod. This mod does really well on temperature control. I'm just not using it in temp control right now. I have it actually at 67 watts. I have it in wattage mode. If it will show up on the camera. There it goes, 67 watts, 0.14. And if I then you can see that I changed the actual ohms on it manually. See, now it's at 0.19. If it'll focus. There you go. I manually changed it to 0.19. And this mod will actually take 18 650s, it'll take 21 700s, and it'll take 20 700s. So it'll take 3 different size batteries. It takes 2 of them for like the temp control or for the batteries in it. I have 18 650s in it right now. It comes with these little sleeves. And they say Tesla on them. It's made by Tesla SIGs. Yeah, it does. It does take 20. It'll take 18 650s, 20 700s, and 21 700s. If you look at the actual tubes, it'll go up to 20 700s or 21 700s. Because this is what happens when you put an 18 650 in it. Just without the cage. See how small it is? Because these actually have the positive on one end of the cage. So you basically put negative goes on the inside near the door. So positive would be this one. And negative would be this one. Yeah, I've been looking for the freaking Samsung 40T 21700s. I just can't find them. So if you find them, let me know. Because I need at least 4 of them. Hey, Christine. But this is a good mod, especially if you're looking for a mod that takes 21 700s. I've gotten about 3.5 weeks off of these 18 650s in this mod. And that's constant use. So I'm sure that 21 700s would be a ton better. They'll probably last a couple months. Oh, that's not bad. I'm also looking for 40 amp output batteries though, but they're hard to find. It's a good website. I'll save that. Thanks for the website, man. EFES batteries suck. I have a bunch of them. I have a bunch of them that are completely dead. They didn't even last me like a couple months. And I could tell that you put them in your vape and they'd only last about 5 minutes before you'd have to change them out. They didn't last very long. You take care, Christine. I heard these Emrin batteries are really good. Molcell P42A 21 to 700 4000 mil amp 45 amp maximum continuous discharge. Wow. 45 amperes. What are these? These are 10 amperes. 35 max. What are the 48 Gs? 9.6 amp maximum continuous 4.8 amps, so they're pretty small. 9.8 amps max. Funny how the 30Ts are 35 amps max, where the 40Ts are 30 amps max. Oh, the 30Ts are 3000 milliamps at 35 amps max. The 40Ts are 4000 milliamps at 30 amps max. Yeah, they're freaking garbage. They overrate their crap, and I can tell you for a fact, I have probably about 12 of the 18650s, and they're so overrated that I literally put two in a mod, in a box mod, and it lasted about 6 puffs and they were dead. And they were supposedly 4,000 milliamp cells, which I think they were more like 400 milliamp cells, is what I honestly think. Because my box wouldn't even turn back on. That's how crappy they are. These Mosellies P42As 21700 4000 milliamps or 45 amp battery max. Yeah, but the higher if you look at, if you get a battery that has a larger ampage pull, it will last longer. It's not just the 4,000 milliamp capacity that will last longer. Here, check this out. This is one I just found that is worth the $9 per battery, in my opinion. These are also 4,000 milliamps. Yeah, I have a lot of EFES chargers. I don't like their batteries, but they make very good chargers. That I have to give them. It's always nice though if you're doing high temperature or you're doing high wattage. It's always nice to have that 45 amps per battery. I've used that Moselli before. They make really good batteries. I would pay $10 for those batteries all day long. They're actually Samsung cells. They're just not branded Samsung. Yeah, you can always get the batteries out of a power tool. Yeah. A single 21700 temp control USB-C charging 510 base connection. Well, the mod I was showing you, it's not a single, it's a dual battery. A dual battery would last longer than a single. This one does do charging, but it's a micro charging port. So you can just plug the mod into a charger and it will charge the 21700s or 2700s or the 18650s. But any temp control mod can do other things. All temp control mods can do wattage mode or temp control mode. This one does this one also has like 6 memory slots. This does Kanthal stainless, nickel, titanium, and it does Nicor 200 or nickel 200, stainless steel 31.6, 316. It does Kanthal, and it has a preset mode, a TCR setting where you can set the temp control regulation setting. Well, this thing fits in your pocket. It's pretty small. It's not as big as it looks on camera. If you put a little small tank on here, it would be a lot shorter. Because it's now at temp control. So if I wanted to vape at because you can actually, this mod allows you to turn temp control on a Kanthal wire. Kanthal wire was usually not capable of running temp control. You can actually run temp control on Kanthal wire on this specific mod. And this one also has hard settings. So like the actual puff settings, normal, soft, hard, and user preference. You can actually tweak it for your puff settings. Come on, show the graph. Oh, crap. There it goes. Yeah, it allows you to, when you pull the trigger, it'll be a soft puff, or it'll be a medium puff, or a hard puff. If I get it to focus. Ah, it just fucking went out again. There you go. You can change all of these bars to customize how the puff acts. You have normal, soft, and hard. So if you do hard, when you puff, mine's at 67.50 watts at the moment. So if I push the trigger and I have it on hard, it's gonna ramp up the coil as quick as possible to give you a hard hit. If you put it on soft, it's gonna ramp up the coil slowly to give you a soft hit, and if you have it on normal, it'll ramp up in a normal speed to give you a between soft and hard. So to actually, even though what it does is it basically allows you to have a really hard hit without the wattage or the temperature control being so high. So if I want a hard hit, like I'm used to vaping at like 100 watts for wattage mode. So if I want that 100-watt hit, but I don't want to be vaping at 100 watts, you can put it on hard. So hard will be, as an example, I have it at 67.50 watts at the moment. Hard will make it feel like it's about 90 to 95. A lung hitter, yeah. Yeah, so am I. And then if you don't want it on hard, say you want it on soft, it'll ramp up slowly. So it'll feel more like, instead of being at 67.50 watts, it'll feel more like 40 something watts on soft. And say you screw up the coil that you built, you can change the coil resistance in here, the ohms. So this coil I built is actually 0.146 ohms. I actually set it to 0.196 ohms. Which gives me that extreme, really good tasting flavor. So you can actually tell the difference when you change the ohms digitally. You can tell. So if this was 1.4, 0.14, you change it to 0.19, you actually can taste the flavor difference just by using the board. I'm actually getting more flavor out of it at the moment. And then there's... Oops, I just turned it off. What else I like about this is you can tap the button 5 times. You know how like a normal mod you tap it 5 times and it turns it off? You can do that on this mod. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it turns on. Or you can slide this switch to turn it off. Here's this switch right here, right underneath the trigger button. If I flip the switch to the side, it turns it off. It's an on and off switch. Only thing I don't like about the on and off switch is if you turn that switch, you actually slide the switch to off. When you turn it back to on, it always asks you what your coil is. It asks you for a new coil every time. It only took me like 20 minutes to dial it in. But it's at 0, so as soon as I hit the button, it's going to ask me for, yeah, new coil or same coil. You just click same coil. That's the only problem I have with it for that. It also has other things in here. If you hold these two buttons at the bottom, oh, I think it's the trigger and the right button. Let me see. Yeah, trigger and right button gives you LEDs. Because it does have LEDs on it. So it's basically this button and this right button in the corner. And then if you do trigger and the left button, it actually locks the power setting, so it won't accidentally get changed. And then you can just unlock it, power unlocked. Cheap vaping, I've never even been to that website. It's not bad. It holds 2 batteries, though. I go to more trusted websites. Like Element Vape. They have great deals. Element Vape does. And Vapor DNA is another good website also. No, I have that. Oh, that must be the small one, yep. That must be the mini. Mag grip. It's not rated properly. It's the information's wrong. It should say Smock Mini Mag Grip, because the full size is a 230 watt, and it's 221 700s. I'm wondering if this is a knockoff. It does say ships from China. I have the full size. I don't have the mini. So yeah, that one does take one 18650, one 2700, or one 21700. It's your choice. The full size isn't bad. I've never messed with the mini. I would assume the mini is just like the full size though. It's a pretty decent mod. I don't think the Smock sells the mini anymore. I don't think you can get the full size anymore either. Unless you get it from like Vapor DNA or Element Vape or one of those websites. Out of all the people that was in Justin's live stream, you're the only one that showed up. And you weren't the only one that said you would join either. It was like 8 people in there that said they would join and they didn't come in. The mini mag, I've never tested it, but I'm pretty sure it's just as good as the full size. The full size is just a higher wattage. I think the full size does 220 or something like that. The same as my Tesla, I think, if I remember correctly. I have a lot of Sigelli stuff though. I have a lot of Sigellis and IPV, a lot of Snow Wolves. I have a Smock X mod Xbox sitting here. But this has got a custom wrap on it. And I have my older limited edition Snow Wolf sitting here with a Buddha, my Buddha R V2 on it. I wrapped it because I didn't like the plain black. That was the only reason it's the only mod I have that I wrapped. All the rest of them are original. No wraps or anything else. The only set of wraps I bought, because I have This one's actually my wife's. She wanted. I have two of these black ones and I have a silver one. So she wanted to be able to tell them apart. So I put the horseman on hers and I put a skull on mine. And then my other one, you can tell it's also mine because it says vaping. See at the Jack Daniels emblem, old number 7, but it says vaping on it. And I like Jack Daniels, so I thought it was pretty neat. So my wife can tell my two mods from her single mod. The one that has the Jack Daniels on it is actually the black mod. And then my silver mod has the skull on it. I'm guessing you sold it. Oh, that's a pretty nice. The Relux RX200, that's pretty nice. I like the red one. Red one's pretty nice. Yeah, they're all 510 thread. All the mods I have are 510 thread. This one says cell type 318650 cells discharging current should be above 25 amps. Nickel, titanium, stainless, variable watt mode. So it's got everything my Tesla has. It only goes up to 200 watts though. That sucks. Temp control mode goes up to 600 degrees, which my Tesla does the same thing with 2 batteries. 0.05 ohms to 1.5 ohms. 0.1 to 3.5 ohms for wattage mode. That's not bad. The screen on mine is larger too. My Tesla screen is larger. It's got the same micro USB port as well. Too bad it wasn't 321 700 cells. That would be pretty sick. Element Vape has that Relux RX200S for 50 bucks. They don't have any of them in stock though. Vapor DNA has any of them. Oh, they used to have a quad box too. Takes 4 18650s. I didn't know that. Yeah, 200S. It looks like a newer model. I'm seeing the Wismec Relox RX 300 Quad 18650 box mod. It was a discontinued item. No longer made, I'm assuming. And then actually go back. There's this one. Post the link. There you go. Was it hard to hold? I imagine four of them 18650s, the fully charged 18650s, that'd probably be pretty heavy. Oops. Paste. According to this, the RX 200S is also discontinued. There, that's the 200S. M12 vape mod, that would be very interesting. I couldn't imagine an M18. Oh my god, that would be heavy as hell. Can you imagine putting a 12 amp hour on your mod? That would be a heavy ass freaking mod. Yeah, let me go get another 12 amp hour an 18 volt Milwaukee battery. I'll be right back. The 200 was better. They're both discontinued. You can't buy them anywhere from what I can see. They have the GearBest has it. They only have the red and black. And it's 56 bucks. And it says arrival notice. There's no, they don't even have it in stock. That's why I asked for an arrival notice. You literally get an email when it's back in stock. I don't even think, Wismec even sells it anymore. Oh, they do have it in stock. The actual company that makes it, but they don't have the color I like. $45 from them. They have a lot of series. They have the Luxottic series, Relock series, Synois series, CB series, Noisy Cricket series, Motive series, Pressa series, Signature by Jabo series, Signature by Jonathan series, Active series, and Tinker series, and High Flask series. They have a lot of series. The Relox RX Gen 3 dual mod. It's kind of the same shape as the 3 battery one, it's just got digital screens. It's interesting. Are you really? Right, 18 M18 vape mod with a 12 amp hour would, yeah, it would have to be clipped to your belt and it'd have to have a cable that comes to the mod. Yeah. This one's interesting. I also prefer the mods that have more batteries or bigger batteries. I prefer a mod that has 2 batteries because I I'm always busy, so I'm always going somewhere, and it's just easier for the batteries to last longer than for one battery for me. I drive upwards of about 500 or 600 miles a day, so I can't just pull over and stop just to change my batteries. Something that would go in your pocket would probably be easier for you, where I got, a cup holder, you know, the my mods actually fit in my door handle, the little where you put your fingers to open the door. So I have places to sit them down when I'm driving. You can use the 300 the Relox RX 300. The one you said that it's just too bulky. You can use it as a battery charger to charge your phone or something. That's interesting. I did not know that they made RDAs that screw on and have a USB port. That's freaking cool. That's neat as heck. Yeah. Look. Like I sent the link. Here, I'll send the link again. I don't think I sent this link. This is off of the actual owner's website. Scroll down, you'll actually see an RDA screwed into the top of it with a USB-A cable running to a phone. That's freaking crazy. When all you have is your vape and your phone is dying, just plug your phone in to your vape. Gotta make that last booty call phone call. I'm probably gonna have to get off here though soon. Already been live for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I didn't even realize that. That's funny, right? The adapter, you just screw it on and you plug your cable in and then plug it into your phone. And you know damn well that the USB micro charger on it does not charge the 18650s as good as an 18650 battery charger. Because you know it's only pulling like 1.5, like 2.3 volts or something at 1.5 amps charging the 18650. It would take freaking days, if not weeks, to charge 4 18650s like that through a micro USB cable. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's been 2 hours, 20 minutes, and 35 seconds and counting. Yeah. Yeah, I have M12 batteries. I think I have more M12 batteries than I have M18 batteries. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't want to pay full price for an M12 and have to tear it apart. Pawn shop would be a good idea. 6.0, yeah, XC, that would be a pretty good mod. They normally hold three 18650s if I remember correctly. I think I'm gonna shut the stream down though. And go make some food and watch some TV or something. Thanks for sticking around and chit-chatting with me this whole time. Yeah, I saw the video. I think I need like 1200 or no, I think I need like 1700 freaking watch time hours left. What is it at? Monetization. I'm at 2,137 watch time hours, so I need like 1,870 something watch time hours. Holy crap. I do have a couple, I think I have one or two playlists. I think they only have like 10 to 15 videos in each or something. I usually only put my series in a playlist. So if I'm fixing a specific vehicle and I'm doing like 20 videos on it, that's the playlist, the 20 videos for that specific series. I don't normally do playlists where it shows like every video I have. Does that give watch time hours? Or is it only live streams that give the watch time hours? I don't know. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought videos only gave you watch time minutes. Oh, okay. It's good to know. Did not know that. That's true. Minutes turn into hours, yeah. But 4,000 hours is ridiculous, in my personal opinion. Took me almost 3 years to get the 2,000 something I have. And it starts over after 12 months. So it's not easy to get 2,000 watch time hours in 12 months, especially when you only have like 450 something subscribers. It was nice chatting with you though, Shadow. If you have any questions or anything, you can always just send me a text message on the phone number I gave you. I'm gonna probably shut the stream down in a second. Right. Maybe I'll do another live stream soon. You have a great evening too, man. You be safe also. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.